Welcome to the Huddle, day 3 of our Bible and year plan in chronological order. And today's reading was Genesis 7 through 10, and also 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 5 through 16. Let's talk about it. So as you guys know, Noah was commanded to build the ark, and it's time to get busy. So God is like, hey, let's get to it. Bring 7 pairs of each animal that God has deemed as clean, right? Meaning they're edible and good for sacrifice, and bring 1 pair of every other animal that isn't. Animals start coming on board. We are good to go. Noah has 7 days to essentially make all of this happen, right? 1 week to say, hey, I need to collect all of these animals, make sure my family's on board, my sons, their wives, all the birds, gotta say everything that slithers, every single insect. Think about I don't even know how he wrangled all of these animals, but obviously Noah got it done. Eventually, water has covered everything on earth. The Bible says we are 220 plus feet high. Just the highest point of earth is literally covered with water. So everything on land dies, every single animal, insect, bird, human being, everything is dead. The water has covered the earth now 150 plus days. Finally, we get past that. And now we move on to chapter 8, and this is where the flood starts to recede, but it doesn't recede immediately. First, God sent a great wind, right? Just imagine these tornado-type, hurricane-type winds just start moving the water around, water starting to recede. It's no longer gushing up through the earth like God commanded it to when the flood first started. The timeline, I wanted to write this down to make sure I got this right because I was just thinking about how long they were on this ark. 2.5 months later, the mountains became visible. 40 days after that, Noah finally opened up a window and released a raven. Right, Noah's letting out the raven to go essentially check everything out, see if he lands anywhere, see if he comes back anything. He didn't. The raven came back. He also let a dove out as well. Came back with nothing at first, and then 7 days later, the dove finally came back with a fresh olive leaf. At this time now, Noah is 601 years old. 10.5 months after the flood started, the waters had almost dried. 2 months later, everything was finally dry. So we're talking about over a year of this great flood happening. Rain, water gushing, just Noah, his 3 sons, their wives, and all of these animals. Now God commanded Noah to leave the boat, finally release all the animals, go be fruitful and multiply. Obviously, they need to repopulate the earth, right? Because we just wiped out everything. So all these animals need to repopulate, and people need to too, right? Like every single person alive now has came from Noah's tutelage, right? His 3 sons and their 3 wives are the only people alive that can populate the earth. Something that I thought was interesting from the scriptures, he said, even as they left, just as they arrived in twos, the animals also left in pairs as well. And then also at chapter 8, verse 21, this is the first time we now hear that God is pleased, right? He's pleased with the aroma. Everything is new now, right? He's washed away all things, and he makes a promise to Noah. And he says essentially that he will never flood the earth again. And he promised that as long as the earth is alive, the seasons will exist, right? Like we can be fruitful, vegetation, all the things. In chapter 9, God now confirms his covenant with Noah. And he confirms that covenant not just by talking to him, he gave them a sign. But before that, he let Noah know, like, hey, anybody who kills a human, man or animal, has to return that by blood, right? Like this is blood for blood now. This is eye for eye. No more murder is happening without another murder happening, and it had to be done by human hands, right? He said, you guys were made in my image. Essentially, we should be protected, right? We shouldn't be out here killing each other anyway. He also confirmed with Noah that he will never flood the earth again. And the covenant that I was talking about, the sign that he gave them was the rainbow, right? So he's let them know that every time you guys see the rainbow, you should be reminded of the covenant that I have with God, man, and all the animals. So now everybody is out, right? Noah, his sons, all the animals, the birds, the fish, everybody's doing their thing. And Noah makes a vineyard, right? And Noah obviously is making some good stuff in the vineyard because he gets drunk. Says he laid out, sounds like Noah passed out in front of his tent, and his son saw him, his son Ham. Ham runs and go tells his brothers. His brothers come and they back up toward their father with robes and they cover him. Noah wakes up upset and then he curses his son and essentially tells Ham that, hey, you will be the lowest of servants to your family. And he lets his other two sons know that they will forever be blessed. And with that, we move on into chapter 10, and essentially we're getting the lineage of each son, who came from who. And then the same thing in Chronicles is repeating that. Some notable figures were Nimrod. Nimrod was the first heroic warrior of Earth. And then also, if you go through it, from Shem's side, Abraham came as well. And that is Genesis chapter 7 through chapter 10, 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 5 through 16. Reflecting on this, I thought about how much faith Noah had to follow God's plan to the letter. How many times do you guys feel like you had something tugging on you, God telling you to do something, pushing you, waking you up out your sleep, commanding you to do something, and there's still some sort of hesitation in us? And I always wonder, is that why we block our own blessings sometimes? Right? God has laid out, hey, I want you guys to go do this. I'm giving you this urge to go do this. Go be a lawyer. Go and talk to this person. Go and give this way. Go and serve this way. And then we're like, I don't know if I want to give that. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I have time to. And it's like, imagine if Noah did that. We wouldn't exist. And he didn't have a lot of time. He only had 7 days to get this done, which also made me realize that we take time for granted because we don't know how much time God has granted us on this earth or to do the thing. So I hope that in that part of the reflection, we all realize like, man, I got to stop taking this time that I do have for granted. And I need to be way more obedient, right? Like, go do the thing that God is tugging on you to do. Go do the thing that God is commanding you to do. Go do the thing that God has put on your heart that only you can do because we need it from you. And who knows what's going to come from that. But I know what I don't want to know. I don't want to find out what doesn't come from that. So I sincerely hope that we all heed this warning and go be like Noah and be extremely obedient. It also made me think about his sons, right? His sons had to listen to their father, and they had a huge task to repopulate the entire earth. And I couldn't imagine what it was like to be on this boat for over a year, right? Like, I was in the Navy, and I had a couple of deployments that were longer than they should be. One in particular, we were gone for 167 days straight, waiting on our relief to come. And I remember just the discomfort in that. And we were just on there with some other sailors and some Marines. I can't imagine what that felt like to be on that. Like, what did it smell like with all of those animals on there? And then just thinking about, or just being in complete awe of God's power. The fact that all those animals, like wild animals, stayed tamed. Nobody was harmed. Everybody survived all of those days. They had enough food for over a year to survive that flood. And everybody came out just fine, which is extremely impressive. And with the closing thought for today in our huddle, I want you guys to think about, what are you being told to do, right? What thought has woke you up at night? What nagging, reoccurring thing have you just had over and over and over and over? For me personally, it's what I'm doing right now. I feel like I have ran from the church due to some internal talks that I've had to doubt myself based off things that I've done, feeling unworthy, insert whatever trick that the devil has put in my head, and me finally saying like, hey, let me not take this for granted and let me actually share this word. I highly, 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 highly encourage you guys all to do the same as you reflect on what that is. And I look forward to seeing the fruit that comes from that. I'll see you guys tomorrow.